After a terrible run of results on poor track and class combos for me, GT Sport has actually thrown together my favourite combination here at Suzuka in the Group 2s. So now that any chance of keeping SS has been well and truly ruined, it is time to try and get back to A+. Hey guys, and welcome along to another video. If this is your first time here and you are watching all sorts of sim racing related stuff, subscribe now and click the bell icon so you get notified of every video I upload and you don't miss a thing. We join the action here in qualifying before the daily races that we're going to cover in today's video. Now I managed to put in a 1:49.7 on only my third lap, which is going to put me in really good stead and hopefully allow us to bring home some decent results. So here we go then. Race number 1, we've got 10 laps here at Suzuka in Group 2. I've gone for the Nissan in this one. Now I normally use the Lexus. However, this appeared to be the car of choice. Looking at the leaderboards, I found it really stable and overall pretty good car. So I'll definitely consider using it more often going forward. So as always, the aim as we enter the S's here is to try for a clean first lap. In the daily race C's, I like to bed down and just get into a bit of a rhythm, and too many times I've thrown it off and ruined my race on the first corner. So if I can get through the first lap or two without any issues, then that should set us up for a decent rest of the race. Now there's a few mistake hotspots for me around this circuit, one of which is coming out the second part of the Degners here. Too many times I've gotten the power too early and ended up facing the wrong way in the shadows of the flyover. Another issue we have is coming out of this hairpin here, and it's gonna strike us again. I'm just gonna get on the power too much. I managed to just about catch it. However, I am gonna lose third place to the Belgian here. Not only that, I'm going to come under some serious pressure from the Brit here as we come down into Spoon. I run a little bit deep, which is going to push the Brit actually off the track entirely. He hasn't lost too much time. He's lost about a second there. I could have edited that out, but I show you guys warts and all on this channel. So I'm not perfect, far from it, and I think, to be honest, all of us, if we were honest with ourselves, aren't perfect either. I hold my hands up to my mistakes and I apologise for them. So apologies for that one, my fellow Brit. Now as we come through the Casio Triangle here for the first time in this race, we are about a second behind the guy in third. We're going to try and get our head down here and try and get that podium place back. Jumping forward one lap here, we actually managed to take 0.6 of a second out of him on that last lap. So I'm going to try and put him under pressure here because there's quite a few overtaking places on this circuit, but they're more sort of towards the end of the lap for me. Obviously there's turn number 1 which you can try, but that wasn't on for us at this point. So we could try the hairpin, but as we've seen before, I'm not incredibly strong around there, so I'd be nervous to try it. And the other options are Spoon and the final corner. But we're not going to need that here, as he's going to run a little bit wide coming out of the Dunlop curve, get two wheels onto the grass and the gravel. He's just going to get sucked off and we're going to end up back in third place. Over the next couple of laps there wasn't really too much to show you. I was just trying to get my head down. I've managed to take about a second out of the Spaniard up in front. Now we're going to come in here at the end of lap number 5. This is just going to be a one stopper obviously for us. Hardly any need to put any fuel in, and it's just going to be a straight fight afterwards to the end of the race. So new boots on there and a splash of fuel, and we're actually going to come out in 4th, but we're going to be really close to losing that 4th place, and we critically just stay out in front of the German who was ready to overtake us. The only reason that he's there is because he hasn't pitted yet. Neither has the Brit up in front, but I think the 2.7 odd second gap that they've got shouldn't really cause us any harm. We shouldn't really catch up to him, and I pray that he's coming in at the end of this lap. So as you can see there, we've dropped the guy in 5th by 1.3, almost 1.5 seconds now. So it was really important that we held onto that place as we came out of the pits. So as expected, the Brit's going to dive into the pits there. Thankfully, we didn't get held up at all. Also, the German behind us, who we just held onto the place from, came in as well. So really lucky with that one. It's now a straight fight to the end of the race. There's about a 5-second gap to the Spaniard up in front and a massive gap to the guy behind in 4th. So it's just going to be a case of making sure that I'm consistent and bring home this 3rd place whilst taking advantage of anyone who makes any mistakes. But if we just end up with a 3rd place, it will mean good driver rating points for us, getting us ever closer to A+ again. We've rejoined the action here on the final lap, just coming into 130R for the final time here, and consolidating our position is exactly what we did. There's still a big gap between ourselves and 2nd and ourselves in 4th, so I'm happy to bring home this 3rd place and some decent driver rating points. Moving on to race number 2 here, we find ourselves again, thanks to our good qualifying lap time, in 3rd place on the grid. So we're going to hope for another at least podium finish in this one. So the aim again is to have another clean opening lap. Races aren't won and lost mainly in the 1st lap. So we don't want to make any mistakes here at all. We do not want to end up on that AstroTurf on the outside of turn number 1 there at all. We're just going to stay on board for the opening lap here as we try and stay with the 2 up in front and drop the Brit behind. So this combination, as I was saying, is my absolute favourite. I don't know about you guys, but I just have some combinations that just click for me, and Group 2 at Suzuka just absolutely clicks. Do let me know in the comment section down below what combinations work for you. I also have a couple of others that I'm quite strong at, but this one most certainly is the best for me. So let me know in the comment section down below, guys. I'll be interested to know what your strongest combinations are. We're going to be extra careful here as we come out of the hairpin. We don't want a repeat of race number 1 where we got it all wrong and actually ended up losing a place and then forcing somebody else off the track, but we haven't done that thankfully, and we're managing to stay with the 2 guys in front whilst also pulling a bit of a gap out to the Brit behind. So things at this point are looking pretty good. I'm just about in the slipstream of the Spaniard up in front, who will be pulling me along quite nicely as we enter 130R here. Managed to keep it flat almost through there. I bottle it slightly as I thought I was going to end up on the AstroTurf and on the outside. It just isn't worth the risk at this point. Just want to bring home another good result to aid our driver rating. So as we cross the line here to start lap number 2, keep your eye on the Spaniard up in front. As we come into the first turn here, he's just going to go too deep, get on that AstroTurf, and he's going to swap ends again and again, and he is gone, which promotes us to 2nd place now. I do feel for him slightly, as I think we've all been there. The inverted commas first turn, as it's known, which actually compiles of 2 corners, the 1st and 2nd corners here at Suzuka, for me is one of the most difficult corners to get right on any track in any game, to be honest, but it is so rewarding in these cars when you get it right. Jumping forward slightly here to the end of the lap as we enter the Casio triangle, the leader is going to run wide on the exit here, which is going to give us a semi-run on him down the front straight. He sees it coming though, he knows we're there as we put in the fastest lap of the race, as you can see by the purple markings there. He's going to go to the inside to block that one off, but we're right with him now. I'm going to try and put him under some pressure because he's definitely going to be thinking of us at this point. And I find that I'm quite strong through the S's here. So this view really helps. I find it's just helping so much more with getting the nose of the car onto the apex. You can see that we're actually doing a better job of the guy in front because of this view, I think. When I was in the view before, I was just really struggling to hit my points because I just couldn't really see where I was in relation to the car itself. So coming out of Degner 2 here, he's managed to get a bit of breathing space between himself and us here. So I think he's got it safely covered for now, but I'm going to put him under as much pressure as I can all the way until the pit stops, which will be happening at the end of lap 5. So right on cue then, end of lap number 5, we're going to come in for our first pit stops. But unfortunately for us, the leader is going to come out just in front of the Frenchman and the Brit, who are now battling for second place. To be quite honest with you, I could have done with him coming out behind those two so that they can hold him up and we can have a shot at trying to get first. Now, hopefully they won't hold us up too much by their fighting. You can see visibly that we're catching them up here through the S's, and also hopefully they'll be coming in at the end of this lap. So I anticipate as we come through Degner 1 and 2 here, we should be with them by the time we come through Spoon, which should hopefully give us an opportunity at the run on one or even both of them down through 130R and into the final corner. So as you can see here, as the leader scampers off into the distance, we've caught right up with these two now, who are embroiled in their own battle for second place. So we're going to come into Spoon and we're right with them as we anticipated here. We've got fresher tyres, so we should get a better launch, as you can see them both sliding around on their worn tyres coming out of Spoon here. We're in the slipstream. The Brit is going to try and overtake the Frenchman, and I've just got no choice but to get out of the throttle here. They're a rolling roadblock, but not for long, as there's contact which pushes the Frenchman off onto the Astro and promotes us to third. I go a little bit deep here into the Casio triangle, but get a good bit of traction on those newer tyres coming out of the final corner here, and unfortunately for us, the Frenchman came in, but the Brit did not. We were stuck behind him for another lap, we just couldn't get past, but he's going to put his hazards on here as he knows we've got the run on him, and he's going to get off the gas as we get alongside. Now that is a good move from him, some good racecraft shown there, because if he's not stopping, he will just lose more time trying to battle me when he needs to hold on to every second he can to keep hold of that podium place. So whilst he was thinking of the bigger picture, it has allowed the leader to get about 6 seconds up the road, which is just not what we needed at all. That's why it was so crucial that he got out in front of those two, especially considering one of them was on a non-stopper and we got stuck behind. That could have been the difference between second and a victory for us today. But as we drop the Brit behind, just showing how much time we lost stuck behind him, we're going to try and consolidate this second place like we did with the third place the last time out, which is just going to add more and more and more driver rating points. So as we enter the final lap here, we've pretty much got a strong stranglehold on second place. I'm just going to try to bring this one home. So talking and hoping that I'm not going to bin it on this final lap, it's actually really nice to bring you guys some positive results on this channel for a change. It's been a real rough time of late, and I'm hoping this can be the start of a nice little run which should get us back to A+. Now, I would normally have SS marking this. Over the last couple of FIA seasons, I've managed to hold on to that and finished in the top 200 of either my nation or the manufacturer or whatever the criteria was to get to SS. I've managed to do that, but on this occasion I just haven't been able to do it. I think it's been a combination of things really. The poor luck, and when I didn't have poor luck, it was just my out and out speed wasn't there this season. Also, I think the fact that people could hammer them really didn't help me, because to be honest with you, I don't have the time, or quite frankly the desire, to sit there for 5 hours on a Saturday night hammering out FIA races. After a long week at work, I just can't be arsed with it. So I'm really happy they changed it with the update, and the last race that you do now counts. So hopefully that won't mean that people just hammer them and just get their best result. We'll have an advantage over those who don't want to or can't enter every single race every single time. But moving back to this race now, we're going to come home to take second place to pair with our third place from the race before. I'm really glad to give you some decent results on this channel, and we've actually gone up 4,500 driver rating points. But for now guys, that is the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please hit that like button and make sure you're subscribed to the channel if you haven't already. Thanks again so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.